Good morning, students. This is K. Lakshmi, Chebrolu Engineering College, Lecturer 8, Unit 1, Topic Electric Field Intensity. In the previous session, we discussed about the Coulomb's law, the force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges, that is F proportional to product of two charges, and it is inversely proportional to the square of distance between two charges. So Coulomb's law expressed in the form of equation F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. Now in this session we discuss about the electric field intensity. So here there is a charge plus Q1. Around the charge, the space consisting of electric field. That means simply electric field is the electric environment of a system of charges. That means this electric field is expressed in the form of electric lines of force. Electric field is a scalar quantity, but electric field intensity is a vector quantity. So here in this picture, this is a positive charge. Now how we calculate the electric field intensity? First of all, we know that electric field intensity is variable from point to point. That means near the positive charge, the electric field intensity is more, and away from the positive charge, the electric field intensity is less. That means as we move away from the charge, the electric field intensity is gradually decreases. That is very important point. That means electric field intensity is not constant throughout the electric field. It is a variable function that depends upon the how much away from the charge, how much distance from the charge. Now in this figure, here it is the space or electric field which is developed by the positive charge Q1. Now let us assume another positive charge Q2. It is placed, for example, here. So depending upon the charges, that means whether they are like charge or unlike charges, whatever it may be, there must be a force is developed between these two charges. Now that force is represented by the letter F2. So this force is lying along the direction where the line joining between Q1 and Q2 charges. Similarly, let us take Q2 charge in this area. Here also a force is developed. That force direction is along the line joining between Q1 and Q2. That means electric field is a scalar quantity, but electric field intensity is a vector quantity. It has both value, magnitude and direction. that direction is always along the force, and this electric field intensity is varying from point to point. So here all the Q2 charges are aligned at the same distance, then automatically what are the force exerted at the or experienced at the plus Q2 is equal. That's why here all are represented by F2 bar. So that is the difference between electric field and electric field intensity. Now this is about the electric lines. Whatever the field, whether it is electric field, that is expressed in the form of their electric lines. In the similar manner, magnetic field is also expressed in the form of their magnetic lines. Now let us discuss about some of the properties of these lines. Let us take a positive charge. Now around the charge there is electric field. Then what about their electric lines direction? When you observe this figure, here the electric lines are start from the charge, or in another meaning they move away from the charge also. So that is the nature of a plus Q. And minus Q charge, the electric flux lines, the electric field lines are move towards the charge, or another way, stop on a negative charge. That means all the electric lines are starts from plus Q and stops at minus Q. That means they always travel from positive charge to negative charge. That is the meaning. In simple manner, electric field lines are starts at a Q. That means they move away from the positive charge and they move towards the negative charge. That is the meaning here. And if we increase the number of charges, the field lines are also increases. That means the electric field capability or capacity around that space is also increases. By observing this figure, here the flux lines mean field lines number is increases. Why? Because here the charge is increases. Here the charge is plus Q. So the field lines or moreover 6 or anything. So here the charge is increases, that is 2Q. The field lines are comparatively Q is increases. That means more the charge, more will be the field lines. So that is the important point. And when you observe this picture, the field lines never cross each other. That means they are all always in a parallel manner. They cannot or they never cross each other. Depending upon the spacing between the field lines, it explains the what is the strength of the field, whether it is a strong or weak. If the spacing is more, then the field is weak. If the spacing between these lines is less, then the field strength is strong. So simply the field lines spacing indicates the strength of the field, whether it is strong or weak. So these are the some main basics about electric lines. That means electric lines start at a positive charge and stop at a negative charge. More charge, more will be the field lines. These lines never cross each other, and depending upon the spacing we can decide the field whether it is strong or weak. So this is about electric lines. And next concept, electric field intensity. Electric field intensity. Generally, according to Coulomb's law, force experienced by charges Q2 due to Q1. So here Q2 due to Q1. So this is F2 bar. Of course, the force experienced by a charge Q1 due to Q2 is represented by F1 bar. Now here we have to take force experienced by a charge Q2 due to Q1, which is named as F2 bar. So as according to Coulomb's law, force formula Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R square 1 to A bar 1 to. It is a vector form of Coulomb's law. So that's why here we have to take an unit vector. This unit vector is along the line joining between Q1 and Q2 direction, and R is the distance between the two charges. Now by simply write the Q2 value below F2, so F2 bar by Q2 is equal to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R square 1 to A bar 1 to. So here it is force per unit charge. So this force exerted by a unit charge is called electric field intensity or electric field strength. So it has both a magnitude and direction. That means it is a vector quantity. Then what about which direction it indicates? It always along the direction charge Q1 to the position of any other charge. So force per unit charge, that is electric field intensity, E bar is equal to formula Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R square 1p A bar 1p. Here P means position of any other charge around Q1. Already we discussed that electric field intensity is completely depends upon the position of the other charge. That means here electric field is developed around the charge Q1. So the electric field intensity is varying from point to point. That means where the position of the another charge experience a force. So that position is very important. Depending upon the position, we have to find the electric field intensity. So it is a not unique factor. It is a varying factor. So simply here we write replacing position P in place of 2. So the finally formula for electric field intensity is E bar is equal to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R square 1p A bar 1p. Here A bar 1p is the unit vector along line joining between Q1 and whatever, at what point we have to find the field intensity. That means that position is called A bar 1p direction. Now electric field intensity units. When you observe this figure, here it is a Q1 and Q2 is a point charge. That means around the Q1 there is an electric field. Now let us take a point charge at this position. So here the point charge meaning charge units are coulombs. So the point charge meaning it is equal to 1 coulomb. And the distance between these two charges is r bar. Automatically a unit vector is aligned, the line joining between Q1 and Q2, that is a bar r. Now this is the force experienced by the charge Q2 due to Q1. It is indicated by the letter F2. And what about the direction of electric field intensity? It is always along the force direction. What is the force experienced by the positive charge due to point charge? So simply the direction of E is the same to direction of F2 bar. So that's why here we have to write the direction F2 bar is equal to E bar. Now according to definition of electric field intensity, E bar is equal to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square A r bar. This is an expression, for example, in a Cartesian coordinate system. Then what about the spherical system? So when you take the spherical system, that means this is a sphere. For this sphere, this capital R is named as a small r. That means when you imagine a sphere having a radius small r, now on the sphere we have to assume a charge, that means a unit positive charge Q2. Then what is the electric field intensity at that point is E bar is equal to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This electric field intensity in the case of spherical system is E bar is equal to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square A r bar. So we have already know the types of coordinate system, that is Cartesian coordinate system, spherical coordinate system and cylindrical coordinate system. And the variables in spherical coordinate systems are r, phi and theta. So here the r is the radius of the sphere. So in place of capital R we have to take small r. Then the unit vector is also A bar small r. So this is the expression for electric field intensity in the case of spherical system. Then what about the units of electric field intensity? So according to definition of electric field intensity, force per unit charge. That means force by unit charge. The units of force is newtons and for a charge is coulomb. Hence the units of electric field intensity is Newton per coulomb. But electric potential has units joule per coulomb or Newton per coulomb. Hence E bar is also measured in this unit is also expressed in terms of volt per meter. So generally electric field intensity units practically expressed volt per meter. So this is about the units of electric field intensity and also the direction of electric field intensity. The next, electric field intensity due to n charges. here we have to discuss the electric field intensity due to one charge. So that is q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r1p a bar r1p, like that. So here this is a position of where the electric field intensity is determined. So these are the different charges: q1, q2, q3, q4, and so on, qn. So first let us take electric field intensity at the point P due to q1. So the distance between these two charges is r1, and the unit vector along this direction is a bar r1. Now the expression for electric field intensity at the point P due to q1 is represented by capital E1. So that is q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r1 square a bar r1. And next, here we find the electric field intensity due to q2 charge. Now the distance between these two positions is r2, and the unit vector along this direction is a bar r2. Now the electric field intensity at the point P is indicated by the letter E2. So the expression for E2 is q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught r2 square a bar r2. So here there are a number of charges, and in the similar manner whatever we have to follow in the cases of q1 and q2, the same method we have to apply for the cases of q3, q4 and qn. Here this is a nth charge, and the distance between point to nth charge is rn, and the unit vector along this direction is a bar rn. Now the corresponding electric field intensity is indicated by the letter E bar n. This value is equal to the qn by 4 pi epsilon naught rn square a bar r small n. Now what is the total electric field intensity at this point due to these n charges, that is q1, q2, q3, q4 and so on, qn? Simply sum of the electric field intensities. That means E bar is equal to E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus and so on plus En bar. So here by substituting all these values and by the vector sum, here the constants are 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now the sum is indicated by the indication sigma. So sigma I equal to 1 to n qi by ri square a bar ri. Here a bar ri means unit vector along I direction. So it may be also determined with the help of resultant vector. So let it be a bar ri. Here rp and ri, that means these are the distance of the origin to charge q I and position p. So for charge q, the distance between origin to charge q is represented by ri, and the origin to position is represented by rp. So for example, here there is an origin, and the origin distance from q1 is ri, and for position that is rp. So these are the two vectors rp and ri, and the resultant of these two vectors is indicated by the letter a bar ri. So that we'll discuss in the previous class also, how we write the unit vector in the case of position vectors. So simply r bar p is the position vector of point P, and Ra is the position vector for charge Qi where the place written. So this is the electric field intensity in the case of n charges. These are the basic steps how we calculate the electric field intensity in a different charge conductors. So the electric field intensity around the charge Q1 is always directly proportional to the charge Q1. That means if we increase the charge, then electric field intensity also increases. If the charge is decreases, then electric field intensity is decreases. That means they are directly proportional. And electric field intensity around the charge Q1 is inversely proportional to the distance between the charge Q1 and the point at which E has to be calculated. As we already discussed that the electric field intensity is varying from point to point around the electric field. That means if the distance between the charge and the point is less, then electric field intensity is more. If the point is more away from the charge, then electric field intensity is decreases. And simply, more is the distance, less is the electric field intensity, and less will be the force experienced by the unit charge placed at that point. So electric field intensity is inversely proportional to the distance between the charge Q and the point where we have to calculate the electric field intensity. And the electric field intensity at any point and the force experienced by a unit positive charge placed at the same point, they are always in the same direction. This is a very important point. Why? Because here the force is a vector quantity and E is a vector quantity. We have to clearly mention the directions of the both vectors. So whatever the direction of the force, that is the direction of the electric field intensity. That means they are always in a same direction. And next point, placing unit charge is a method of detecting the presence of electric field around a charge and also the strength of the electric field also. That means it is what is the electric field strength around the charge, whether it is changing from point to point, their strength also discussed in this case. Without any unit test charge, we cannot find the electric field. That means we cannot understand the electric field intensity around the charge. So whenever we place a unit positive charge in the electric field, the force experienced by that unit positive charge at that point gives the electric field intensity. That means the electric field intensity is expressed with the help of a unit positive charge placing in that electric field. Otherwise, we cannot find the electric field intensity of the positive charge. So that is very important. That means the test charge is very important here. The test charge placed must be small so that the electric field intensity EB measured should be not disturbed. That means, as the strength of the charge is small, then the effect, what are the effect of the electric field with the help of that test charge, we can accurately measure, and there is no disturbance in the electric field intensity. So these are the important precautions or important observations, whatever it may be, for electric field intensity we have to follow for further solving the problems in the cases of charge distributions, like line charge distribution, surface charge distribution, and volume charge distribution, like that. So this is about the what is electric field intensity, and how we calculate the electric field intensity formula and their units, how we define the direction of the electric field intensity, and electric field intensity for n charge carriers, and how, what are the steps we have to take to observe for relating to electric field intensity. So these are the points we have to discuss in this class. In the next class we discuss about the what are the different charge configurations, and how we calculate the electric field intensity in that charge configurations, and also electric field intensity in the case of sheet, an infinite sheet, and a line charge, and for a spherical ring, etc. That means with the help of Coulomb's law we have to find the electric field intensity in a different shape of charges. Okay, here these are the line charge distribution. So this is the line charge distribution, and this is a surface charge distribution, and it is a volume charge distribution. In case of line charge distribution, let us take a smallest length, that is a differential length, that is indicated by the letter dl. Here we have to discuss a new terms. They are rho l, rho s, and rho v. So what is the meaning of rho l? Rho l is linear charge density. So this is equal to total charge by total length. So here what is the meaning of integration means it is completely from starting to ending point. So for example, it is a line having some length L, but we have to take only a smallest length, so that is dl. Now to find the total charge, that is entire charge in this line, is obtained by integration of this dl. So that's why here we are using integration. So the expression for charge in this line charge is q is equal to integral L rho L dl. Here dl is the smallest length element, that is a differential length, and rho L is the linear charge density. The expression or the formula for linear charge density is total charge by total length, and the units for linear charge density is coulomb per meter. So this is about the line charge. So simply in the case of line charge we have to use the term line charge density, that is rho L, and expression in the case of line charge is q is equal to integral rho L dl. And this is another type of configuration, that is a surface configuration. Here in the case of line charge configuration there is only one variable, it is a one variable function. So here the surface means, for example, we have to take any metal sheet, it has two variables, one length and height, length and width. So in the case of surface, let us assume a smallest surface, so that is indicated by the letter ds. Here a new term is introduced, that term is surface charge density. It is indicated by the letter rho s. So what about the rho s? Rho s means it is defined as total charge in a total area. So the units of rho s is coulomb per meter square. Because here the charge is common through enter all the configurations. The variables are whether it is a line, then that means it is has only one variable, so that is coulomb per meter. For a area it has two variables, that is a coulomb per meter square. So here also the expression for charge in the case of surface charge is integral s rho s ds. Here the rho s is surface charge density and ds is a smallest surface, or it may be differential surface, or it may be elementary surfaces. So this is the finally expression for charge in the case of surface configuration. And the next concept, let us consider a cylindrical shape. So in a cylindrical shape is an example in of three-dimensional view. So that means it has both length, breadth and width. That means it has three variables. So in this case, let us assume a smallest volume, that is a differential volume, that is indicated by the letter dV. Now the same way, charge in the case of volume charge is integral rho v dV. Here rho v is called volume charge density, and rho v expression is total charge by total volume, and the units for rho v is coulomb per meter cube. So these are the very important formulas we have to use in the entire paper. These formulas we have to use in different charge configurations, depending upon the charge configuration. For example, if you take a line charge, then you have to formula use q is equal to integral rho l dl. If a charge shape is in a surface, that means it has two variables, length and breadth. Then whatever the charge expression in this case is integral rho s ds. In the similar manner, you have to take a spherical or cylindrical or any cube like that. So it has three variables. So in case of volume charge configuration, the charge is expressed integral rho v dv. So the meaning of here, the integral L means here it is integration only one time. Why? Because here the variables are only one variable, whereas here there is a surface integral. So the meaning of surface integration means here we have to integrate two times. That is, here there are two variables. Here the meaning of integral V means volume integral means triple integral. Why? Because in case of volume there are three variables, so you have to integrate in three times. So that is the meaning. Whatever the suffix we have to write in the integration, below the integration we have to write the suffix. The meaning of L means one time integration, and the meaning of S means two times integrations, then the meaning of V means it is a three time integrations. So this is about the charge configurations. There are three types, actually four types. We have to point charge is also taken in this, but there is no any explanation about the point charge. So mainly we discuss about these three charge distributions, that is a line charge, surface charge and volume charge distribution. So these are the main key points whatever we have to discuss in this entire paper. So these are the simple table in the case of line charge and volume charge and surface charge. So in the case of line charge, rho L is line charge density. Its units are coulomb per meter. For line charge, Q is equal to integral rho L dl. So integral L means it is a line integral. So that is single integration. And surface charge. So in the case of surface charge, rho S is called surface charge density. Its units are coulomb per meter square. And in case of surface charge, q is equal to integral rho s ds. So the meaning of integral s is surface integral, so that means it is a double integral. Why? Because there are two variables for surface. And next, volume charge. So here rho v is called volume charge density, and its units are coulomb per meter cube. For in the case of volume charge, q is expressed as integral v rho v dv. Here integral v is called volume integral. So that means here there are three variables. So this is a triple integration. So these are the charge configurations: point charge, line charge, surface charge, and volume charge. Their expressions, that means their charge density expressions. Thank you.